morning, this is Bob Mason from FX Empire and welcome to the daily crypto tech review of Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin and Ripple's XRP. We'll be looking at the MACDs, the moving averages and the day's support, resistance and pivot levels. It is Friday the 23rd of October. Jumping straight into Bitcoin against the US dollar, we're looking at the hourly candlesticks here. It's a bearish start to the morning. Going to see Bitcoin move back through the pivot at 12,962 to support a run at the first major resistance level sitting at 13,214. Going to see support from the broader market for Bitcoin to break back through to 13,000 levels and break out from yesterday's high that was at 13,188. So barring an extended rally on the day, expect that first major resistance level to cap any upside. In the event of another breakout, got the second major resistance level sitting at 13,440 and resistance at 13,500 to cap any upside on the day. Failure to move through the pivot will bring the first major support level sitting at 12,736 into play. Barring an extended sell-off on the day, Bitcoin should stay clear of sub 12,500 levels. Second major support level sits at 12,484. Looking at the MACD, we had a bearish cross late yesterday, supporting the pullback through the early part of the morning. We're also seeing the 50 EMA flatten out on the 100 and the 200, also suggestive of a bearish morning ahead. So key through the early part of the day, break back through the pivot at 12,962 and back through to 13,000 levels to bring resistance levels into play. Failure to do that and we've got support levels in play on the day. Moving across to Ethereum against the US dollar, also bearish start to the morning here. Going to need to see Ethereum avoid the pivot at 409.17 to support a run at the first major resistance level sitting at 427. Going to need to see broad-based crypto rally for Ethereum to break out from yesterday's high 421.47. So barring an extended rally on the day, expect that first major resistance level to cap any upside. In the event of another breakout, should see Ethereum visit 430 levels before any pullback, would likely fall short of the second major resistance level at 439.31 however. Fall through the pivot will bring the first major support level sitting at 396.86 into play. Barring an extended sell-off on the day, Ethereum should steer well clear of sub 380s. Second major support level sits at 379.03. Looking at the MACD, widening of the bearish histogram following yesterday's late bearish cross, supportive of the early morning move south. On the EMAs, seeing the 50 pull away marginally from the 100 and the 200, suggestive of further upside on the day. So key through the early part of the day, avoid the pivot at 409.17 and a break back through to 420s would be needed to bring resistance levels into play. Failure to do that and you've got support levels coming into play. Moving across to Litecoin against the US dollar, particularly bearish start to the day here. Going to need to see Litecoin move through the 23.6% fib at 54 and the pivot level sitting at 54.62 to support a run at the first major resistance level sitting at 56.14. Going to see a broad-based crypto rebound for Litecoin to break back through to 56 levels however. So barring an extended rally on the day, expect that first major resistance level to pin Litecoin back. In the event of a breakout, could see Litecoin visit 57 levels before any pullback. Second major resistance level sits at 57.85. Failure to move back through the 23.6% fib and through the pivot level would bring the first major support level sitting at 52.91 into play. Barring an extended sell-off on the day, Litecoin should steer well clear of the second major support level sitting at 51.39. Looking at the MACD, got a widening of the bearish histogram through the early part of the morning, supportive of this early pullback. On the EMAs, we're also seeing the 50 flatten out on the 100 and the 200, also supportive of a bearish morning. So key through the early part of the day, break back through the 23.6% fib and back through the pivot to 55 levels to support a run at resistance levels. Failure to do that and you got support levels in play on the day. Finally, moving across to Ripple's XRP against the US dollar, also bearish start to the morning. Going to need to see Ripple's XRP move through the pivot at 0.2575 to support a run at the first major resistance level sitting at 0.2639. Going to need to see support from the broader market for Ripple's XRP to break back through to 0.2630 levels however. So buying an extended rally on the day, expect the first major resistance level and yesterday's high at 0.26391 to cap any upside. In the event of a breakout, could see Ripple's XRP test the second major resistance level at 0.2703 before any pullback. Failure to move through the pivot will bring the first major support level at 0.2511 into play. Barring an extended sell-off on the day, Ripple's XRP should still well clear of sub 0.2450 levels. Second major support level sits at 0.2447. Looking at the MACDs, a widening of the bearish histogram following yesterday's late bearish cross, supportive of this early morning pullback. On the EMAs, we're also seeing the 50 flatten on the 100 and the 200, also suggestive of a bearish morning ahead. So failure to move through the pivot at 0.2575 would bring support levels into play.